Welcome to Mommispace. My name is Brianna Bernhard, your hostess, and I am a new mom. I selfishly created this podcast to get some advice and inspiration from the moms in my community who are doing amazing things while raising their families. I've realized motherhood is hard, but knowing I'm not alone in this call makes all the difference, and I hope you feel refreshed as you listen. Welcome to the tribe. Welcome back to Mommispace. This is Bree, and today I am here with the lovely Dana Kilgore. Dana, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. I know Dana through church, and we have a fun group of women that get together often, and we have both been a part of that group. And so I'm excited to talk to you today specifically about your motherhood journey, seeing as you have 4 children, which is quite a bit. And you also are homeschooling them all, right? All of them?
Yes, all
Wow.
except for the toddler, but this year he starts. So yeah, fun times.
Wow. So yeah, I'm eager to just hear that process. I know there are a lot of moms that I've talked to that have, tried homeschooling or interested in it. So it'd be fun to get another take on that. But before we kind of dive in, would you just tell us a little bit about yourself, where you guys are located, a little bit about your amazing family?
Oh, thanks. Yeah, my name is Dana. I live in Lake Elsinore. I grew up in the Long Rod of Fullerton area, so I'm pretty local. I haven't come from another state or anything. I have 4 kids that are 12 to 3. Um, I've been married for 15 years this November, and I'm super excited about that.
That's
I didn't
amazing.
ever really think about it. I think so too, especially in my family where there's a lot of divorces. I was like,
Mm,
wow, we sure made it.
yeah,
So,
that's
but
fantastic.
yeah, we've been married for 15 years and we've been together for 16, and I've known him since I was 18, and it's a good time. Me and that guy,
Wow.
me and Earl.
Mm, that's awesome. All right, cool. So will you kind of just share like your journey into motherhood? Have you always wanted to be a mom? Was that were you planning on having 4 kids? Do you guys want more? Like just kind of go into all of that.
Sure. Absolutely not. I did not plan on 4 children. But actually, because we came, like I said, from Orange County. So if we would have stayed there, I probably would have only had 2 kids, and they probably would have both been in school. Um, and just the Lord knows, what we need. So when we moved out here, we bought a house that's made for maybe 4 people. Yep. And
Wow.
then we had another one. And we're like, okay, that's cool. We'll stop. But then all of a sudden, Earl's like, you know what? I feel like there's another seat supposed to be taken at this table.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay, because you can't mess around with me with that because that's like a real deal thing. So that's not like something you throw out. And then we just, we went for it, and we had my Kingston teddy bear, and he's been a doozy. He's been a doozy. By far my hardest child, by far. So,
Wow.
but he's gonna be my greatest joy one day. I know it. So,
Oh.
but yeah, that I wasn't planning on being that kind of mom, I guess, that stays home, and but that's just where the Lord led us. Just to be honest, that's I had no intention of staying home. My mom is a businesswoman. She leads hundreds of people.
Wow.
Um, and she, puts on these big like conferences and things like that. And my brother works in the same kind of like work as she does. I thought I was going to be doing something like that. I would have never guessed I was going to be a stay-at-home homeschooling mom at all. Nope. Nope,
Wow.
not at all. So
Wow.
thanks. Yep.
That's crazy. So, did you have things in your life that you were passionate about before you had kids? And how has that kind of played out as you have chosen this life of being a stay-at-home mom and homeschooling your kids and just fully immersing yourself in that, space?
Well, I mean, just to be very like transparent, I didn't get saved until I was 21. So, and I got married to Earl at 23. So it was kind of like a whirlwind of like collisions of life because there was not very much religion growing up. Like there's half my family knew Jesus in a just like a I guess, cross kind of way.
Hmm.
Like Jesus died on the cross. That's it. Like, and you don't know him like personally. My other side of my family are all from Venice Beach, California, and they were heavy in that kind of life and artsy, beautiful. I mean, music, all sorts of things, and movies, all that stuff. But for me, I just did not know really how my life would change so greatly when I became a Christian. So everything changed from there. Um, like I said, I wasn't planning on being a mother of more than two, but
Mm.
I had my creative passion. I was kind of stuck because I was at this person who was like, okay, I just found Jesus. What in the world am I going to do? Because everything I know is not that it's not okay, but I didn't have like a line set yet. Does that make sense? Like I
Yeah.
didn't have a line that I had to cross because I didn't know like where my boundaries were. I didn't know, I knew my heart was different, but I didn't know how to make that into life at that time. I was
Mm.
so young.
Hmm.
Um, and not just young, I wasn't like super, super young, but I was young in faith. And I was almost like a new child because everything I had known was not normal anymore. And it was and not bad because it wasn't bad. It was just, you're a new creation in Christ.
Right.
So those passions that I might have had before I got saved definitely twisted after I got saved.
Mm.
And being a wife and a mother for a while was my sanctuary, but it wasn't my passion. It wasn't where I got my personal fulfillment, Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, Jesus. But also like creativity and friendship. But those are my passions. I was actually going to tell you that
Yeah.
I've noticed that when I was looking over the questions, I was like, oh my gosh, having meaningful relationships
Mm.
and communicating with people, even if it's with me teaching children, because I
Mm.
teach children on the side as well, and I teach at church, and I teach art, and I teach just different sort of things. Just having communication with other people and ministry and life, that I love that. I love being able to minister to people who had lives similar to me. Um,
Mm.
and that then showing them how I found Jesus
Mm.
and how you don't have to like literally burn everything that you ever knew.
Mm.
I love that. I love the redemption that comes with that and then trying to package that in real people talk. I
Mm.
love it. So I guess that's my passion. And I like hiking. I love Disneyland and Star Wars, of course. But, but that's what I really love. I love communicating with other souls about just this life. It's hard, man.
Mm.
It's hard.
Mm.
So
Totally. That's
that's my
amazing.
passion.
So, could you share a little bit about how you kind of stumbled upon homeschooling? How long have you done it so far? And
Oh my
how
goodness.
do you stay inspired to do that in the day to day? Because that's got to be a lot of work. Like that's a huge job in itself. Not to mention being a mom is full time. Like, yeah, just tell
Yeah.
us where you're at there.
um, I kind of like that you can't see my face. I keep putting my hands on my forehead, like, yep, that's a lot. It's it's a lot. Like I'm under no delusion that of a fairy tale that my life is easier than anyone's or harder than anyone's. But for me and the way I grew up, it is extremely hard for me.
Hmm.
Um, it is a beautiful thing, and I'm really good at it. But it's definitely hard to stay focused with four kids. I mean, it's hard to get all the things that we need. But this is not like, everyone doesn't agree with this necessarily, but my oldest son, when he was probably about almost close to 1.5 or so, when he got his shots, his lights went out. His lights went out.
Wow.
He had a definite shift and change in his body and his countenance, and we were sure that he was from then on the autism spectrum.
Wow.
So for us, we didn't know back then to, report it. They said it was normal, whatever. That's a different subject, whatever.
Oh, dude.
But as he stopped talking basically, and he didn't really talk again to very many people until he was about 4 years old. It was actually a miracle of God on his birthday. We bought him a trampoline, and he started talking to all of our friends and family, saying, "Hey, come on the trampoline," or he said,
Wow.
come jump me," and everyone looked at each other and was like, "Is he talking?" It was beautiful. So,
Wow.
and I don't know. I mean, God chose to heal him that day, or a small miracle, whatever people want to call it. But up until that point, I realized he wasn't like everybody else.
Mm.
And I had to make a choice. My sister-in-law was homeschooling, and I said, I can do that. And then I researched all the ways because Isaiah couldn't learn. He learns very different than other people. Now I know a lot more about him,
Mm.
so I can let him
Mm.
flow. But back then, I didn't have the language. I didn't know because I was a young mother who didn't know what was going on. And I knew he couldn't go to school because I knew they would not meet his potential because they would see him as different.
Mm.
But like I knew I could unlock that box. And I felt
Mm.
like the Lord told me that
Wow.
clearly, that you are who I gave him to unlock his box. And
Mm.
not that there's not amazing professionals that could do that all day long, but he told me specifically, you are for him.
Mm.
And I gave him to you. So um, that's how I started homeschooling. And
Wow.
like I said, I thought I was going to have two. I didn't think I was going to have four. So, so I was like, I got two. It's cool. I got, it's great. It's two. And actually up until three, we were pretty solid. And then this one kid came out and kind of, I call him my little psalmist because he sings all day and he just,
Oh.
"Ah, ah, ah," and it's beautiful, except for if you're in a 1,300 square foot house and trying to do homeschool. So,
Okay.
but
Wow.
but he's learning, and now next year he's going to be with us. So that's how my homeschool journey started. It was a need.
Mm.
I was told by the Lord, and I believed the Lord, and I said, "All right, let's do it." And then from there, now he's older. My kids are older, and we reassess every year.
Mm.
We reassess. I asked him this year. I said, Are you ready to go to schools or something something you want to do?" And he straight up said, "Mom, I ain't ready for that."
Oh my
Like
gosh,
exact
that's
words. Like I ain't
amazing.
ready for that. And I was like, okay. And I'm like, are you nervous or scared? He's like, no, I'm just not ready. I know we got a little behind because when Kingston was born, we took some time off. He's like, I'm not ready for it. Let's prepare for high school and then we'll make another decision. And
Wow.
I was like, are you serious? Like this kid. So, I mean, I
That's
just took my
amazing.
cue from him.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's very socially awkward. And that's just his person. His sister is like the greatest, and she could just go out and talk to everyone. And his little brother is like a little shyster and will talk to everybody. So it's just his personal self. My older son is just a little socially awkward, and he knows he's not ready for it. He just
Mm.
knows, and he's like, "No, I'm not ready for that." And he's like, "People are different than me," and he acknowledges it,
Wow.
and he's okay with it. And we tell him that whatever is different about him is good, and
Man,
I'm
that
going to
is
keep
so
speaking that.
powerful. Yeah, I mean, that's such a
Well,
testament to you and how you've responded to what you felt like you were called to do in honoring your son, and I think that's so beautiful that he can recognize that like that. Yeah, that's amazing. Wow.
I appreciate that, but don't for one second think that I don't cry out to the Lord.
Oh.
Are you sure, Lord? Are you sure?
Yeah, yeah.
At least every month. And like, can
Yeah.
I just get a break?
Yeah,
Because that's
yeah.
true too. They're
Well,
there
I
every second.
yeah, no kidding. I appreciate that vulnerability too. That's powerful in itself. Wow.
Thanks.
So how do you find time to like take care of yourself and in your heart? Speaking of needing breaks, like what is it that you do
Yeah.
that like kind of refuels you?
Well, um, I want to say that not if a kind of easy answer, like I spend time with my friends, and that is true too to some degree. But I think I told you before, like on one of your comments before, is that I take time off every day for the most part. I would say 5 days a week, and I go walking for half an hour or more. And
Hmm.
where I live is beautiful, and I'm able to have quiet to commune with God. And by the time I like leave my house, it's like the witching hour, and I'm like, I gotta go, Earl, I gotta go, or no one's eating tonight, like no one's eating, everyone go to bed. But
Oh
I
my
come
god.
back and I'm definitely stated a little bit more, because the Lord has spoken to me, whether it's through song, his actual words, the wind on my face, whatever it
Mm.
is, I have that little bit of time to reconnect to the maker of all
Wow.
things. So that is true. But
That's so
my
good.
but when I was reading the questions, I was like, but I also wanted to say this was really important to me for me to like for the younger moms that might be,
Hmm.
listening to
Hmm.
this, I wanted to say that I have to find the truth in a lot of the things I do.
Mm.
Meaning, there's sometimes it's just not. what I want to do, or I think it stinks, or I'm burdened, or I.
Mm.
And I have to chill myself out and say, what the truth is, though, is that whatever that may be, or like, yeah, I can't go hang out with my friends or do an art piece that I want to because Kingston will eat it, like whatever it is, because that's true too. But the truth is that I could do those things.
Mm.
And if I can't do it today, it's okay that it's tomorrow. So
Mm.
I have to walk myself through truth. Even if I might not be able to go on a mission trip right now, but I can go soon. And there's a lot of life left. And
Mm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
um, so I constantly am reminding myself of truth, even with
Mm.
homeschooling, like, oh, I want to give up. Well, the truth is the Lord told me that he will release me when it's time.
Mm.
So there's no real reason but I have to walk through those,
Yeah.
like I want to go play with my friends. Well, guess what? Your kids have something going on and your commitment is to them first.
Mm.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
There's
No,
sometimes
for
it's not.
sure.
But
For
does that make
yeah.
sense?
Totally. I love that. That's so good. So so good.
Thanks.
Um
Thank you.
I like to kind of talk through mom guilt stuff. So, why don't you share a
Yeah.
little bit about your journey with that?
Yeah. Oh man, it is a different season, Bree. Like, I mean, my kids, I mean, granted, I have Kingston who's 3 and like a little minion, but I'm pretty much more solid in my motherhood in a different ways. And not that you can't be solid as a young person, that's not what I mean at all.
Yeah. No,
Is
no,
that I
no.
did have those guilt and I did think my husband couldn't handle it, which he could totally handle it. But it was my assumptions.
Mm.
So um like, oh, I can't go out with my friends because I need to make dinner. That is ridiculous. No, I don't.
Yeah.
Like someone else can, my husband is capable, and if not, they well, he is capable, but say if you have a husband that isn't, then you can pre-make something. You're totally fine. They're not
Mm.
going to choke it because you're not there,
Yeah.
and but the mom guilt, it took about until my third kid was about 4 or 5 to really say, I can do this stuff and I can be a person
Mm.
separate but equal to motherhood.
Mm.
Like, because if I'm not, like I know I've heard people say a lot, like, oh, well, if you're not taking care of you, you can't take care of your kids. And I don't mean that flippantly, like, oh yeah, you can't, but you really can't.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not being, even if, like, the truth of it is that even if my walking is my only time I get alone that week, that is still a necessary thing.
Mm.
And or if I decide to shun that and say, well, I'm going to stay home, well, don't play the martyr. Just say, hey, you know what, I decided to stay home because there's other things that are pressing, but tomorrow I need to get out.
Mm.
I need to go for a walk.
Yeah.
And I cannot feel guilty about connecting with myself and connecting with the Lord,
Yeah.
because how am I going to connect with my children if I don't even, how am I going
Mm.
to teach them about the Lord's love and grace and mercy if I don't have it for myself?
Mm.
So, but that's just my personal,
I
you
love
know,
it.
walk, and how I got over it is by walking through the door and closing it and keep walking even if you're crying. Keep walking. Like, just don't turn
Mm.
back.
Mm. That's great
Everything's going to
stuff.
be okay. So,
Yes, yes, totally. Oh, Dana, that's so good.
thanks.
So, when you hear the word legacy, obviously those things that you do to take care of yourself create legacy for your kids. We know that whether we see it now or later, they follow our model and our example. But do you have anything specifically that when you hear the word legacy, you're like, yes, this is what I want to leave for them. This is what I want them to hold on to.
I mean, for me, just growing up in a non-Christian home or a non-Jesus home or non-anything, like where you have solid, safe ground, I guess you can say. For me, the legacy that I would like to leave my children is, you know, that the truth is that they will never not have Jesus in their life. They can choose to walk away if they want, whatever. My children are the first generation of my family that have known Jesus
Mm.
from birth. And I, am going to believe that the Lord is going to continue those generations for our family.
Mm.
And that is I wanted to make that question about me, really. I really did so hard. I wanted to be like, yeah, that I self-sacrificed my youth and my boobs because now they're saggy, all that for breastfeeding, whatever. No. But it's none
Oh,
of that because that was how I fed them, like whatever. But
yeah.
really, when I came down to it, is that they not that they don't get to choose Jesus because they obviously have to do that on their own, but they get to know him as like an extended member of their family ever since they were
Mm.
born, and
Wow.
that is priceless to me.
Mm.
So that's the legacy I hope, and that they know for sure that even though we have 50 cents until Fridays sometimes, that God honors his people. And
Yes.
he told me to stay home with them, and he honors us. We have a home, we have
Mm.
food, they're taken care of, um, and that God honors his people. And that's
Yes.
kind of the two things I would like the Lord, well, to
Yeah.
leave for my children, because I don't want them to ever be afraid that they won't be cared for.
Mm.
But what that looks like
Wow.
is might not be what they're thinking,
Wow.
like
For sure. For
they
sure.
might not.
Wow. That is such a
That's my legacy,
powerful.
I think.
Yeah, that's so powerful. And I even love the way that you put that they have Jesus as an extended part of your family, like that they're growing up experiencing the person of Jesus, like as you walk through your journey as a believer. Like that is such a beautiful picture. I've never heard it that way, and it's really good imagery. So I'm going to take that for myself.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Keep it. Thank you.
Yes, will do.
Yeah.
Oh, Dana, this is so good. I so appreciate you sharing your story and just all that you've been through and walked through as a mother. Yeah, that's so good. I like to end with
Same.
some fun questions. So the first would be, do you have a favorite product for yourself or for your kids that you feel like you cannot live without at this moment?
Oh, that I can't live without? I
I
don't
mean,
really
that's kind of
know because
dramatic. It's
I
like,
mean,
yeah, it doesn't have to be that dramatic. Just something that you like, that you use, that you
no,
would
I mean, like,
suggest to other moms.
to be honest, like, there's two things that I've been using a lot of, and it makes me happy. The,
Yeah.
the Monet or Monat stuff. Like,
Oh,
okay, so,
yeah.
as you know, but not your listeners, yeah, I have dyed my hair crazy for years, and my hair was dead. And I've been using Betsy Darling.
Uh huh.
She gave me Monat, and my hair has been growing, and that's all I use. I don't use anything else, and
Wow.
I'm dying to dye my hair because I'm bored to death. But, um, I'm letting it grow for Earl, so it's working. I love that product for myself.
Oh, cool.
I don't really have a lot of products for my kids, to
Hmm.
be fair. But my daughter, I've been using this stuff called Curls, and it helps her hair. And it's all hair stuff but it actually is really good for she's biracial child, so
Mm-hmm.
she doesn't quite have hair that can um, soak up, like say Black people's products. It's
Mm-hmm.
a little bit heavy for hair, but then Latina and white girls' hair products
Mm-hmm.
actually it dries her hair out.
Oh, wow.
So it's a fine balance of finding that. It's very interesting, but we found it in curls, so that's my thing.
Nice.
And I'll take a MAC lipstick any day. That's my
Hey,
favorite thing in the world. I have the butts. It's my
there you
favorite.
go. There you go. Love it.
That's it. Pretty easy. Pretty easy.
Good stuff. Well, I'll try and find the links for those things. So if anybody's looking out for that kind of needing a hair revival product, that sounds great.
Resurrection. That's what it was.
Yes. Ayo, for the hairs.
It was enough.
And then
Oh,
do
can I
you,
tell you something? I totally forgot
yeah.
something.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I missed something like when you were asking about motherhood, like, because I was talking about my early motherhood,
Mm-hmm.
my late motherhood, like just for encouragement for you guys as you
Mm-hmm.
guys are going, through your young babies,
Mm-hmm.
is that just trying to make it through sleepless nights or like feedings and, babies not talking is a huge thing. Like me and Earl literally would fist bump each other if we got to sleep through the night. But, this season of my motherhood is a whole new thing. So for your other moms that are like maybe where I'm
Mm-hmm.
at with 12-year-olds and 10-year-olds,
Mm-hmm.
it's been such an amazing thing of motherhood for me because I have people who want to be heard. They want to be heard, and
Mm-hmm.
no longer instructed the same way. Like, like
Yeah.
we're like, don't touch that, don't do this, or this is how it is when they ask you a question. They want to know the what's, why, this, that. Now they want to tell me. And it's such
Mm.
a different season of motherhood that the Lord has just stretched me because I just want to tell them the answer. I know the answer. I could look it up on Google right now,
Yeah.
but they want my attention.
Wow.
And it's so different because they're these little hormonal humans that
Oh.
want me to hear them. And it's only for a few years. And then they want everyone else to hear them.
Mm.
But right now it's me and it's Earl, and that's it.
Wow.
We are what matters. So just for encouragement, like for you guys, and please do
Yes.
yourself a favor and always with your husband, always settle any dispute with rock, paper, scissors. Please. From like dirty diapers to like legit me and
Oh
Earl in church when they would call our name for poop, we would do rock, paper, scissors. And it takes the fight out.
my God. Yeah.
There's no fight. You lost. Go take.
Yep.
So that was just my
Oh my gosh.
old person, you know,
Dude, that's a great idea.
everything, even cars. No, even cars. Like we've decided like major life decisions with rock, paper, scissors, and let the stuff lie where it lies.
There you
So
go.
just so you
I
know,
love that.
that
That's
was that was
hilarious.
for me. You can't fight
Oh.
the fate, but you know what I mean.
Oh my
So
gosh, that's
there that is.
amazing. Well, actually, that fits in
That's my.
perfect with my last question, which was a piece of advice you'd give to young moms. So you just nailed it on the head there.
Oh yeah,
So
that's it. That was it right there.
nailed
Rock,
it.
paper, scissors.
Yes.
For everything. You take it
Brandon
out.
and I did that the other night. I forget what it was for. Oh my gosh, it was for a poopy diaper. We totally did it. And
See?
it wasn't on purpose necessarily. We've never really done that, but he called it like he was like, we were just going back and forth. We were just being, joking around anyways. And he was like, all right, let's do rock,
Yeah.
paper, scissors. And he won, which I think is so lame because I would change most of the diapers anyways at this point. But whatever.
Right.
Whatever.
Well, go bigger next time. Go bigger and do it for food, or like if you really want something, like
Yes.
toss out your dice, man, because
I love it.
it's a 50-50 chance
Yep.
and you can't go wrong. Like if you want that shirt, you rock, paper, scissors for it. You
There
know
you
what I mean?
go.
Like,
I'm taking it. That's such a great
so but
idea.
that's, yeah.
Oh, Dana.
You can't even fight about it. Like,
Yeah, totally.
can't even fight.
Oh, man. Well, thank you so much for this time and for, taking the time to do this. I know you have a busy schedule, and I'm so grateful and excited to share your story.
Thanks, babe. Thanks.
Thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. I hope you enjoyed it. It was such a pleasure to have you listen in. If you'd like more information about this guest and other guests, you can check that out on Facebook and Instagram at Mommispace. And you can also email me at mommispace@gmail.com if you want more details or have any questions or would just like to get in touch. I'm always looking for new connections. Also, it would mean so much if you could leave us either a rating or review or both on iTunes. This just gets the word out about the show. It's a way that we can get more connected with more mamas out there. And it really helps me out as I am doing this on my own. And sometimes I just need a little lift up, y'all. It's good to hear from you that way. Thank you so much again for tuning in. I hope you have an amazing week. Remember, you are loved, you are enough, and you are doing your very best. See you next week, Mama.